Hey guys, so you guys asked for a video on how I apply the e6000 onto my chunky glitter by using a brush. So first thing, what I do is I shake it really good. So bottle says to shake well, so that's what we do. Once I feel like it's shaken up really well, then I open it, and usually you can see that it's shaken up really well because there's lots of bubbles. So then I will just get a little Dixie cup and I will pour some, not a whole lot because you don't need a whole lot in there. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's just probably right to this little tiny line right here with the e6000. And then I will close this back up and we'll grab the cup. So I just lightly dab the foam brush so that way it's on there. And then just like I would apply Mod Podge, I lightly dab it onto here. So that way my chunky glitter doesn't really come up. And if you'll notice, that little tiny bit of e6000 goes a long way. So I'm just gonna go all the way around the cup. Get a little bit more e6000 here. And if you get a little bit of runs, no big deal. You just go pat them out. The nice thing about this e6000 is it will dry clear. So the more that you have on your cup, the longer it is going to take to dry. But we'll be coming back and doing the smooshing in about 30 to 40 minutes. Definitely don't want to forget the bottom. And even though it's got like this white on it, what I can promise is the shine of your glitter is going to come back. And for super chunky glitter, I have just found that this is what works for me. The great thing about these products is so long as you are letting your paint and everything, if you're using spray paint, gas off, Crystalac is amazing because it is extremely forgiving. So I don't know if some of you saw one of my previous posts, but I made the mistake of sanding before it was dry. That was when I thought my time was up. It had been 4 hours. It had really only been 2. And so when I sanded, naturally, my Crystalac my bright tone was not dry. So then I had to wait until it was completely dry and go back, apply another layer, and then sand. And that cup was salvageable. Had I done that with epoxy, it would have been a nightmare. Epoxy has not been my friend. So now that I have complete coverage on here, because I want to make sure, since it is a sealer, that it is all the way kind of even, I'm just going to very lightly take my brush and go across, just to make sure that we are getting everything. So let's make sure I'm getting you guys in the camera here. Not really applying pressure at all, just letting the foam brush kind of glide that glue right across the cup. Okay, and then definitely don't want to forget the bottom. So there you guys have it. We have the e6000 is completely on here. So what we will do is we will come back in about 30 to 40 minutes, because we still want it a little bit tacky. So that way when we smoosh it, all this glitter that is kind of standing up, if you guys can see here, we've got a few around the rim or the bottom of the cup that are standing, and a few on the sides that are not laying flat. So we want to make sure that those get flat. And then this, I just put it into a cup of water, since it's water soluble. And then I am able to pull these out, dry them, and reuse them. Great, another great thing about Crystalac. So we will come back in about 30 minutes to 40 minutes, and I will show you guys how I smoosh it. All right, guys, we are back, and it's been about 35 minutes. So this is still kind of, it feels really dry, but thankfully underneath it's still really tacky. So we're gonna go ahead and smoosh. And so what I've done is I've already gotten my parchment paper. So I just buy it in bulk at Sam's. I don't worry about reusing the parchment paper. I'm sure I could if I wanted to, but I use it for cooking anyways, so I always have a bunch. So, but this is about the size that I do, only because I want it to wrap around the cup about 1.5 times, because I don't want to worry about the paper shifting too much, because I don't want my glitter to shift too much. So let me go ahead and adjust the camera down so that way you guys can see. Bring this over just a little bit. And I leave it on the little stick, but what I do is I set it here, I get my parchment paper, and I just roll it. So now I have a good tight little way to get the paper to where it's on there. And then I roll it on the table. I have figured there's really not a such thing for me with chunky glitter as too much pressure. So I apply a really good amount of pressure. I'm kind of pushing on the table here. So just roll it and smoosh it. And on the curved cups, I really try to use my hands to smoosh it, because obviously it's not going to make as much contact in that curved area as a skinny would. Then I fold the bottom down, fold my top over, and kind of just rock it back and forth to make sure that I am smooshing the bottom. And then just because I can, I rolled it, fold it the other way, and then roll it again. Roll it on those edges, because the bottom is where I had a lot that was kind of standing up. All right, and then we're just going to unroll it, and let me bring the camera back up here and kind of show you guys. And then if there's any spots that you feel kind of need to be tapped down, then you can very lightly do that. But if you notice now, we don't really have anything standing up anymore. It's all nice and smooth. So I will let this now go ahead and continue to dry. I have work today, so it will probably be later this afternoon or maybe even this evening that I get to put my first layer of bright tone on. But I like to let the e6000 dry for about 4 hours, the same amount of time that I let the bright tone dry, just to be on the safe side. I could be being extra precautious or not, but it's just purely my preference. So hope this video helped. My very first video. So thank you guys for being gracious. And yeah, have a great day, guys.